Hello students, we have already uploaded the video explaining passive voice and active voice, but I found that some of the students are not comfortable with tenses. They need to revise tenses. So here is uh, an attempt to simplify the tenses so that you can better understand the passive voice videos. Tense is simplified. Normally we divide time into three segments: present, past, and future. So we have three divisions. In these three divisions, we further divide the tenses into simple present tense, simple past tense, simple future tense. Then comes continuous tense, present continuous tense, past continuous tense, future continuous tense. It is also known as present imperfect, past imperfect, and future imperfect. But normally we know it by continuous tense. After that, we have present perfect tense, past perfect tense, and future perfect tense. And finally, present perfect continuous tense, past perfect continuous tense, and future perfect continuous tense. So totally we have 3 into 4, 12 tenses. Normally some of the students don't even know how many tenses are there. So total 12 tenses are there, and very easy to remember, 3 divisions into 4 segments. Okay. Now let's go into detail. Simple present tense. To make it simple, all the sentences you can understand, I have written very simple examples. From simple examples we'll go into towards the tougher ones. So this video is for simple examples only, and later on we'll make it bit complex with passive voice and direct indirect speech, reported speech also. Simple present tense: I eat an apple. Simple past tense: I ate an apple. So eat is the present form of the verb, and that is why it is the present tense, simple present tense. If we change that eat to past form, it is simple past tense: I ate an apple. Future, simple future tense: I shall eat an apple. Nowadays people generally use will instead of shall, but years back or old English, I was used with shall was used with I and not will. When we were sure of some future action, we would use will, but that is another thing. I shall eat an apple. Now comes continuous tenses. In continuous tenses, you will find ing form of the verbs. Present continuous tense: I am eating an apple. I was eating an apple. That is past continuous tense. And future continuous tense: I will be eating an apple. If you look at these sentences, in continuous tense you have ing form of the verb. Now am, was, be are the forms of the verb to be. The present form of this to be verb is are, am, is, are. Past form are, was and were, and you can use been in the perfect tense. and being when we use the passive voice. So, present continuous tense, I am eating an apple, I was eating an apple, and I will be eating an apple. Then, present perfect tense. Here we use the different forms of two forms of the verb to have. In present form, we have has and have. Past form, we have had. And future, we use have with shall and will. So, present perfect tense is I have eaten an apple. Past perfect tense, I had eaten an apple. And future perfect tense, I shall have eaten an apple. So, from observing the verbs, you can identify the tenses. Last, present perfect continuous tense. Have is the present form of the verb to have. Been is the past participle of the verb to be. So, it suggests perfect condition. Present, perfect, and eating, as I told you when I told you about continuous tense, ing is there. That means it suggests continuity of the action. So, by looking at the sentence, you can make out which tense is it. Present, perfect, continuous tense. I have been eating an apple. The same over here. Had is the past form of the verb have. Been suggests perfect and eating suggests continuous. So, past, perfect, continuous tense. The same with the future perfect continuous tense. Shall suggests future. Here shall have. Been suggests perfect and eating suggests continuous. Future perfect continuous tense. I shall have been eating an apple. So, I hope you understood this. Next, we'll start with simple present tense. In this video, we'll take or we'll cover only the simple tenses. In the next video, we'll see continuous and then perfect and then perfect continuous tense. So, in this video, let's focus on only simple tenses. You should know the construction or the form of the sentence in simple present tense. Subject plus present form of the verb plus object and other words. In English, we have SVO pattern. SVO pattern. SVO pattern means subject. Subject is the doer of the action. Then comes the present form of the verb. When we look at the verb, when it is in the present form, we can make out that the sentence is in present tense. Then comes object and other words. It is not necessary that all sentences will have object, but here for your information I have put subject plus present form of the verb plus object and plus other words. Now in these other words there can be words suggesting time, frequency, place, etc. So here I have taken subject I. So I eat. Eat is the present form of the verb. An apple, that is the object, every day. I eat an apple every day. That is the simple present tense. Second example is he, she, it. That is the third person singular. You should know first person, second person, third person. When we talk about ourselves, when we mention ourselves, we use I. In plural, we use we. When we are talking to someone, when we are mentioning them, addressing them, we use you. You is used in singular as well as in plural. It is not different. Now, you have to pay attention at in the third person singular. He, she, it eats. So this verb takes S or ES. So he, she, it, or any name is there, like Ram. Ram eats an apple. So here you have to keep in mind in simple present tense the verb takes S or ES according to the verb. In plural, we eat apples, you eat apples, and they eat apples. So the form is subject, present form of the verb. If it is third person singular, S or ES is added, plus object and other words. I hope you have understood this. I, you, we, plural form you and they will not have any change in the verb, but if it is third person singular, the verb will take S or ES. Now, negative sentence construction. Subject plus do or does plus not plus present form of the verb plus object and other words. First example is I do not eat an apple every day. So we use the form of do. That means do or does to make the negative in simple present tense. I do not eat an apple every day. But if it is the third person singular, so it will take does. He, she, it, or any singular name. For example, Ram, he, she, it, or Ram. If it is a singular, then does not eat an apple. Now, when we use does over here, the verb is put as the present form, not no S or ES are added. So, it is the present form, S is removed. So, it will be like singular, I do not eat an apple. Second person singular, you do not eat an apple. But third person, we use does. He, she, it does not eat an apple. In first person plural, we use do not, we do not eat apples. Second person plural, you do not eat apples. Here, everyone cannot eat one single apple. And third person, they do not eat apples. I hope you understood the negative construction of the simple present tense. Then comes interrogation, interrogative sentence construction. Here also we use do or does. So first, do or does plus subject plus present form of the verb plus object plus other words. So the sentence will be, do you eat an apple every day? And if it is third person singular, does he eat? Now here eats, S is not there. So does, when we use does, the verb will drop the S or ES. Does he eat an apple every day? So first person singular, do I eat an apple? Second person singular, do you eat an apple? Third person singular, only you have to keep in mind, does he eat an apple? Does she eat an apple? Or does it eat an apple? Now plural, do we eat apples? Do you eat an apple? Or do you eat apples? And do they eat apples? So this is the interrogative form of the simple present tense. Uses. Now where do we use the simple present tense? First of all, we use simple present tense to describe routine. For example, grandmother goes to temple every day. You have to keep in mind this other words, they show frequency of action. That we'll talk later on. Grandmother goes to temple every day, though it is the routine. Simple present tense is also used to describe habit. My daddy doesn't drink tea. Next, it is also used to describe hobby. She plays tennis. Some scheduled events. Morning prayer gets over by 7:45. So regular occurrence. The train leaves tonight at 9. Something now next is something that often happens. Regular occurrence but at some interval. He never forgets his wallet. Some other facts or generalization like birds fly in the sky, California is in America. These are general, facts, and we use simple present tense to say or convey that. Occupation. He works in a bank. I am a teacher. All these occupations are generally, conveyed by simple present tense. Next is universal truth. Some of the truths, those are not going to be changed, like sun rises in the east. One more is there, honesty is the best policy. Okay, all these things are conveyed in simple present tense. As I told you, there are adverbs of frequency used with simple present tense to show the regular occurrence: daily, every day, hourly, annually, often, seldom, usually, never, eventually, frequently, rarely. There are so many others. These are the adverbs of frequency used with simple present tense to show the frequency of action. So this is simple present tense. Now we'll switch over to simple past tense. Simple past tense sentence construction is very simple. If you understand simple present tense, simple past and simple future are not difficult and they are very easy. But small little things you have to keep in mind here and there. So the sentence construction is the same. Subject, but in simple present tense we used to use present form. Here we are going to use the past form of the verb. Then object and then other words. Subject, I ate an apple yesterday. So I is subject, ate is the past form of the verb, an apple is the object, and yesterday shows the past time. So I ate an apple is the simple past tense sentence. How do we change this to negative? We use the past form of the verb do, that is did, to make the sentence negative in simple past tense. Negative sentence goes like subject plus did plus not plus present form of the verb. Now see here the past form of the verb was used, but in negation we use the present form of the verb because we have already used the past form, that is did. So subject plus did plus not plus present form of the verb. Most of the students make mistake over here. Did not went. Actually, that is the wrong sentence. Did not go. Okay. Most of the students while speaking they make this mistake. Subject plus did plus not plus present form of the verb plus object plus other words. So the sentence will be like, I did not eat an apple yesterday. The same precaution you have to keep when you make an interrogative sentence in simple past tense. We have already used did in the first, did, then subject plus again present form of the verb, not the past form of the verb, because we have already used did. Did plus subject plus present form of the verb plus object and other words. So the sentence would be like, did you eat an apple yesterday? Did you ate is the wrong sentence. So you have to use did you eat. When you have a simple, simple sentences in simple past, that is I ate. Here ate suggests past. But when we use did in a negative and interrogation, we do not use the past form of the verb, we use the present form of the verb. Now, where do we use simple past tense? It's very simple. I saw a movie yesterday. It describes the complete action from the past, something which has already happened. They cleaned their room on Sunday. Duration in the past, something which happened in the past and finished in the past, like he studied in Rosary for 5 years. Children waited for the food for 2 hours. So this can be conveyed in simple past tense. Habits in the past which is stopped in the past, which was stopped in the past, like I studied Sanskrit in the high school. So that is studied and now no more Sanskrit is studied. Zubin played violin when he was a child. So he is not playing violin now, or he doesn't play it now, but it was something which used to happen in the past, that is conveyed by simple past tense. Now let's talk about simple future tense. Simple future tense, here we use will or shall to make future tense or to suggest future tense. Subject plus will or shall, present form of the verb, object and other words. The sentence will be like, I will or shall eat an apple. Normally we use shall with we and I. So first person. When we are not sure of an action in future, we use shall with I and will. I and we. But when we are sure of any action, we use will. But that rule was followed in the past. Nowadays, people generally use will. So, I shall eat an apple tomorrow. He will eat an apple tomorrow. Making negative construction in simple future tense is very easy. We add not in the sentence and after will and shall, and it is converted to negative sentence like subject plus will or shall plus not plus present form of the verb plus object and other words. So sentence will be like, I shall not eat an apple tomorrow. He will not eat an apple tomorrow. I hope you understood this. Now interrogative sentence in simple future tense. Here will or shall is placed first. Will or shall plus object plus present form of the verb plus object plus the other words, and then don't forget the question mark. So the sentence construction will be like, will you eat an apple tomorrow? Will he eat an apple tomorrow? So very simple. If you understand one simple tense, that is simple future or simple past or simple present, you will be able to compare and understand the other three or other two. Now finally I'll give you one more example. First the usage of future tense. We always use future tense to suggest future action. I am not feeling well, I will take some medicine. So here you suggest something you are going to do or something going to happen in future. Second, unplanned, unpreventable action in future. Monsoon will come soon. You cannot stop these things to happen. So that is unplanned or unpreventable action in future is suggested by simple future tense. for promising, ordering, etc. in future, like I'll bring chocolate for you tomorrow, or my father will buy a bicycle for me next week. So this future actions, plans, or promises are conveyed by simple future tense. Now last, I'll give you revision simple present tense with another verb, that is watch, and sentences are given over here. First we'll take all the simple tenses. Simple present tense, he watches the news every day. Now in the past, he watched the news yesterday. Simple future, he will watch the news tomorrow. Present continuous tense, he is watching the news at present. Past continuous tense, he was watching the news yesterday. Future continuous tense, he will be watching the news at 9. Present perfect tense, he has watched the news. Past perfect tense, he had watched the news yesterday. Future perfect tense, he will have watched the news. Present perfect continuous tense, he has been watching the news. Past perfect continuous tense, he had been watching the news. Future perfect continuous tense, he will have been watching the news. Now with this, we have used two verbs over here. One is eat in the beginning and the other is watch. Now I would like to use some other verbs and make 12 sentences in all these 12 tenses and practice. So I think I must give you the verbs so that you can use them in sentences, 12 sentences. So first is write. Use write and make these 12 sentences in 12 tenses, and after all the sentences you have to write which tense is it. Like if you want to write in simple present tense, he writes letter, and you have to write after that simple present tense. Okay, so use the verb write. Then another verb is sing. Sing. So this is the homework. Use two verbs, write and sing, to make all these 12 sentences. Next video we'll see continuous tenses. So till then, do write all these sentences in all this using these two verbs. Thank you. Hope you liked the video.